Secrets locked away from us in a vault, never to see the light of day. Things that we will never know from just watching the edited show put in front of us on television. Thankfully for us today, the official DVD and Blu-ray releases of each season of Survivor contain quite a lot of secrets that you would never know from just watching that show on television. And that's what this video is going to be diving into today, as some of these secrets are game related, some are personal thoughts, some are just plain silly, and the truth will finally be revealed about why Survivor was rumored to be finished after season 16. As long as it isn't part of the show that aired on television, it's fair game to be considered a secret. While most of the secrets here are focused on season 16 of Micronesia, some of them do apply to Survivor as a whole. So with that, I want to thank you for watching what I make and ultimately supporting what I do here with liking, commenting, and sharing. For only a few bucks a month on Patreon, you can pick what videos I make, watch all this channel's content early, chat with other fans of the show, and even get exclusive videos every month. Thank you for your support. To be clear, there is so much good stuff locked away in these extra features, especially in the secret scenes and the behind the scenes interviews that reveal strategies, thoughts of what was happening in the game, unedited thoughts on others, and why certain moves took place. It's a lot, and to feature every single thing will be far too much for just one video, so I do recommend you watch them in full for yourself. However, this list contains the secrets that I personally found to be the most interesting. So with that, let's count all 39 of them in absolutely no particular order.
39 days, 20 people, 1 survivor.
Number 1. When looking at the cast of who was picked to be a favorite, it seemingly all makes sense. They all played post All-Stars, and even if they were villains to the majority of viewers, they all had their fans, therefore becoming fan favorites. But really only one player on this cast stands out as being a pre-All-Stars player and pretty much universally loathed by everyone. Not even Jeff Probst wanted him to play, but Mark Burnett said, no, we need him. We need Survivor's biggest idiot. And those are his words, not mine.
Most everybody here is somebody go, oh yeah, I really like that guy.
Except for Johnny Fairplay.
Except for Fairplay.
What was your thought?
I wrote Mark, and I sent him an email going, do we really need Fairplay? Isn't our pedigree a little higher than this guy? But obviously that's why I don't run a show, because look at that.
Oh God.
But Burnett's and CBS response was,
geez.
you can't do this show without your most notorious idiot.
Oh God.
So, and I gotta say, he gave us exactly what we deserved.
Number 2. This next one is an impressive stat considering that this covers Thursday nights from 2003 to 2007. Heck, even to this day, Survivor still kills it in their time slot.
There are all these shows that are a knockoff Survivor. You keep winning.
Yeah. It's true. I was looking up some stats. We have not lost a regularly scheduled Thursday night since 2003.
Unbelievable.
Number 3. Back when China finished and Micronesia was next to be aired on television, rumors were swirling around that this was it. Now, obviously, this rumor is not true. Just look at how many seasons there are today. But back then, this was a very real rumor and it was a very real concern. And Jeff Probst explains why this even happened.
No, honestly, I don't really know where all this talk about we were going off the air is coming from.
Okay.
Other than I heard that CBS internally had said season 16 is probably it. We'll be done.
All right.
But then we get 15 million and we're not.
Number 4. While this one is not directly related to Micronesia, in talking about China and Micronesia, we hear confirmation from Jeff that, he doesn't think Fiji season 14 is a good season.
Honestly, I think when this one's over, fans will say you had 2 back-to-back good seasons.
Right.
Which doesn't happen that often.
Yeah.
Usually you have a really good one and then you come back with a... This is good.
Number 5. This next secret is a curious one, and I want to start from the end of the timeline and work backwards, as when Fairplay is voted out, his final words have him saying just how he hopes he has flipped the script and everyone likes him this time.
I think I've done a 1,000,000-degree change since the last time I was here. I mean, last time I was the biggest bad guy ever, and this time I'm a responsible adult that people liked. Some even loved. What's going on in the world?
He really wants to be perceived as a hero and not a villain. Now keep this in mind as I montage to you pre-game interviews, secret scenes, and a whole lot of things that contradict these final words. I'm not sure who Fairplay was trying to fool, except maybe himself.
Welcome to the world of Johnny Fairplay. I pretend to go along with what you say, but I'm really lying.
The grandma life for me, considered one of the greatest moments in the history of reality television. I'd do it over in a heartbeat. Do I have a trick up my sleeve this time? Of course I do. But any regrets from the grandma life before? Absolutely not.
In terms of picking someone out who I would fight with, I can't really think of someone who I could get into a screaming match with, really, besides Fairplay, just because of, we've fought before.
If I could strangle someone with my bare hands and get away with it, it would be Johnny Fairplay.
If you're expecting to see evil Johnny Fairplay out there watching at home, guess what? You are going to see evil Johnny Fairplay.
Number 6. Over the course of Penner's Survivor career, he turned from villain to hero in a lot of viewers' eyes. Now, why is that? I think this interview from him in regards to what happened after Cook Islands explains a lot.
It was very interesting because at my kids' school, everyone knew that I was on the show. Some of the kids were very, very hurt, actually, to see me talked about the way that I was.
Number 7. Survivor fandom can be weird, and that's good and bad. Apparently post-China, but pre-Micronesia, James became America's sweetheart and had people asking to take pictures with him in the oddest of places.
I'm not used to people really paying me that much attention in certain places. Like, I've been taking pictures at funerals. Like, it's like a big thing now, and I have to say I buried people, and they're like all excited that I buried their loved one.
Number 8. And that's not all. Ladies were proposing marriage to James in the randomest of places, though he didn't take them very seriously.
I've had a few marriage proposals since the show's aired, but it's not any serious ones. It's funny, it's odd. I mean, like grocery stores and people just stopping me and squeezing on me and this weird stuff.
Number 9. Eric's infamous blunder in giving up immunity to Natalie Bolton will never be forgotten. I believe we will all be old grandpas and grandmas just telling our grandchildren about this special event. In a bit of a surprising twist, Eric predicted that he could do something really, really stupid, and he says this before the game ever begins, just as long as it involves hot women.
I mean, there's a lot of hot women in this season. I mean, I've seen the other contestants, and they are, that'll mess up my entire game if that ends up being a factor.
Number 10. When we think fair play, we think of Sandra and Rupert. They all almost go hand in hand together. They really were his biggest enemies in Pearl Islands besides, well, himself. However, fair play disagrees. There is one person who is clearly his arch enemy that most of us have been overlooking.
Jeff Probst is my arch enemy. Everyone thought it was Rupert. Rupert went home halfway through. Jeff was there the whole time. So was I. So guess what? Round 2.
Number 11. Oh, and Fairplay has one more thing he would like to say before Survivor Micronesia begins, and it's a bit ironic.
I am going to do something different this time than last time. This time I'm going to win. Should be fun.
Number 12. As far as I'm aware through researching this is the first season with Ponderosa videos, so we really learn a lot about how it was back then, especially when you compare it to a modern Ponderosa. For example, in Micronesia, it takes them quite a long time to get there from Tribal, and they basically have to hide who the person who's voted out is with like this cloak, Jedi looking thing. It's pretty cool, but also kind of weird. I'm guessing it's to avoid spoilers to anyone who might be spying on Survivor in the middle of the night in Micronesia.
You're like scurried off into the dark, and then you come, they put this big cloak over you so that like nobody sees who you are, and they put you in a car, and like an hour later, it's like bumpy mumpy, you have no clue where you're going, and then you come to Ponderosa, and it was wonderful.
Number 13. This next one is a bit interesting. Ponderosa mail exists. Huh. Just like tree mail. This seems almost unnecessary because the castaways can talk to production, so this is all clearly for the purposes of these videos, but a surprising twist for me at least, to be sure.
I got Ponderosa mail today. The first hint was in my tent. I found my clue, which said that tonight someone would be joining me, and this was my last day of solitude here at Ponderosa.
Number 14, Ozzy and Amanda. Whoa. They had quite the romance this season, and I always wondered how someone can make out like they did without caring that a cameraman is right there. And apparently though, there was no cameraman, as Jeff Probst reveals exactly how they got that footage.
We have very intimate footage captured by one of our fantastic producers who actually hid a camera in a spot where they thought somebody might go and try to make out.
Number 15. With Alexis and Ozzy at Ponderosa, you would think, okay, they're just friends. And from Ozzy's perspective, that is true, and even Alexis claims this, but Eliza doesn't seem to agree with either of them.
Alexis might be feeling like she could get back at Amanda by kind of flirting with Ozzy. Alexis and Ozzy might have some chemistry, but I think Ozzy has real feelings for Amanda, so he's gonna probably wait on her.
Number 16. After final tribal council, Parvati and Amanda get one night at Ponderosa, and yeah, Ozzy and Amanda really don't care who's watching now. I'm not sure when the romance ends between them, but it was clearly not on the island.
It was cute at first, but it got kind of nauseating. And then it was like, wow, what the hell? There was just too much ambiance and too much romance for James at that time.
Ozzy caught me completely
completely off guard at Tribal last night. I wasn't expecting him to tell me that he was falling in love with me. It was really nice to hear because I have genuine feelings for Ozzy. So the fact that I know he feels the same way about me is really nice.
Number 17. What is the best way to open a coconut? I've never actually thought this to myself, but now I'm wondering, do I chop it in half? Do I chop the top part off? No need to think about it anymore as Ozzy reveals to us the secret of the best way to open and consume a coconut.
Part of opening the coconut, you open it from the bottom. Whoa, that's why. It's a squirter. Most of the meat starts forming on the bottom first. And it really is like jelly. This was Yao Man's favorite kind. It's like jelly. Yeah, Yao Man loved it.
Number 18, Eric. He really couldn't catch a break in his boot episode, and really not even through season 40 Winners at War could he catch a break. You would think maybe he caught a break in his own Ponderosa video. Every player gets a video just focusing on them and like their time in Ponderosa, and it's kind of like a closure on their story, but not so with Eric.
Eric made one of the dumbest moves in at least 14 seasons of Survivor history.
I said, you have taken my reigns as the dumbest survivor ever. You are officially the dumbest survivor ever.
What did you do? Why did you play like me? Didn't
You guys have no idea.
He took a life vest off in the middle of a hurricane and gave it to somebody else who was in the boat.
They tricked the crap out of me though, I know that.
Number 19. The tribal council sets are so interesting to me and really are the unsung touches to a lot of seasons. And as it turns out, the voting booth for Micronesia features some really unique touches as explained by Jeff Probst.
This tabletop that they're going to be writing their votes on is actually a storyboard. This one was made specifically for us, and the storyboard simply tells the story of the culture. The interesting part is a lot of the carvers in this part of the world are actually in prison. They're putting their time to good use.
Number 20. This next secret I find a bit weird. I didn't know that Jeff did more than one tribal council tour a season, but he does an almost identical tour for multiple networks and each of them contain their own quirks. Like he explains the same things, but he does it in different ways, which shows that they all didn't use the same footage. They all did their own individual tours, including how in one done for CBS, he votes himself off the island.
I'm gonna do something that I'm pretty sure CBS has thought about doing many times, and that is just vote myself out. It's been a long day. I'm gonna snuff my torch. I'm gonna go to bed. Good night.
But then in one for TV Guide, he votes off their reporter instead.
And this is somebody who I have to say has written a lot of nice things about me. She's been very kind to me. Yes, Shauna, you. Why? Because it's a game, and I want to win. Shauna, the tribe has spoken.
Just wait until you see what I'm gonna write next.
Number 21. Joel doesn't understand how Survivor works. I'm not sure how else to explain this montage of his final words, but he doesn't understand how the game works.
Completely confused with that vote. I don't understand why you would want to keep somebody like Chet. I don't understand why you would want to keep somebody like Tracy, somebody like Suri, who in my opinion would be your three weakest individuals on that team. If you want a strong tribe, I would think you would want a strong person on that tribe, a strong-willed person, a person with some work ethic, a person who's not going to sleep all day inside the shelter like Chet does. Yeah, I'm angry. I mean, I think I'd like to wring a couple people's necks right now, but maybe that's why they voted me out. Yeah, the tribe picked Chet over me. A little bit humiliating.
Number 22. Ozzy had an idol when he was voted out, but he didn't play it. Why is that? Because he left it back at camp. So the question is, would he have played it had he actually brought it to Tribal?
I can't believe I didn't bring the idol. Such an idiot. Such an idiot.
Would you have played it if you brought it?
Yeah.
You would have played it?
Yeah.
Number 23. I am not sure if you already knew this, but sea snakes are venomous and deadly. They don't kill humans too often, but they certainly can and have. Which makes this scene at Ponderosa all the more crazy with just how casual Ozzy is with the sea snake he finds on the beach.
I always wanted to see a snake on Survivor, I just never actually found one. This is a sea snake. If he bites me, I am dead.
Number 24. In Modern Survivor, the winners get their checks moments after the results are revealed. That was not the case back in the earlier seasons though, as we see Parvati get her check on the early show the day after the finale.
What do you have for me? I have a little piece of paper that says it's $1 million with your name on it. What, you have to pay taxes on this, but afterwards
I do have to pay taxes. I do. I'm going to do that.
Number 25. In another interview the day after she wins, she is asked if she would ever return for another season, maybe an all-winner season, and her answer to both these questions may surprise you.
Now, personally, I'd love to see a winner's edition of Survivor with you and Richard Hatch, Tina Weston, Vesepia, Amber, all the others
right
competing.
now, that is never going to happen.
So you wouldn't do that if that was an option?
I would not go back on that island ever.
Number 26. In a lot of people's minds, Micronesia was a watered down All-Stars 2. However, Jeff claims that they never wanted season 16 to just be another All-Stars. They never wanted to do just All-Stars 2. They wanted to do something different. Now, whether you believe this or not is up to you, but this is what Jeff says.
We've been talking about doing another All-Star season, but from the beginning of the discussions, we wanted to do something different. We weren't going to do a straight All-Star.
Number 27. I always find the behind-the-scenes production of a show of this size very intriguing. What all goes into it? How many people are on location? How many boats are used?
Which we then have to supplement up to, I guess we're up to about another 30 to 40 vessels in total in order to manage all the different logistical things that we do.
Number 28. It's no fun when Jeff has a good take on a player, unless he correctly calls who the winner is. But in preseason interviews, he makes a very bad take on Natalie Bolton.
I think the game's going to eat her up. I hope she proves me wrong, but that's my take going in.
Number 29. So who is Jeff's winner pick this season? Who is going to cash that $1 million check when it is all said and done?
James has already managed to impress one major fan.
James is my pick to win for the favorites.
Now, even if James wasn't medically evacuated, I don't think he was on the path to win. Number 30. As most of us know, since it is talked about briefly at every Survivor reunion, it seems like, props from the show can be bought once the season is done online. However, a lot of the regular day-to-day items cannot be purchased, and that is for good reason.
A lot of the more run-of-the-mill things like workbenches and tools that we don't need anymore, it all gets split up to our local workers and neighbours and people that need it usually.
Number 31. Now, the All-Stars and China Secrets videos, when we get to those, will get into this next secret a lot more in depth. But as you may know, there is a team of people whose sole job is to test challenges and rehearse them for the purpose of helping production for when the real thing happens.
My name is Jenny Bennett, and I am the Dream Team coordinator this season. Basically, I've got a group of 20 kids for this season, and we run the challenges, we test them out, and we rehearse them so we can get the best camera angles.
Number 32. I don't recognize this next player who we were talking about, so I did Google her, and the Survivor Wiki claims she played on Micronesia, so I guess I will trust them. But Mary was completely unaware of how hard Alexis was playing her right before voting her out.
Alexis has just got a really, really good soul. She's got a huge heart. She doesn't seem to give off the vibe that she has any other plans that are kind of brewing, any type of alliances or anything like that. It just seems like very pure and honest.
As all girls know, when there are 3 girls hanging out, there's always one left out. And so I think that if Mary's out of the picture, then it really bonds Natalie and myself.
Number 33. In this next secret scene, Mikey nearly burns his clothes off when he accidentally gets a bunch of hot coals on himself that does leave him with a pretty substantial burn.
And all of a sudden I was on fire. The bamboo hit something in the fire pit. The coals kind of went flying. And I brushed one off, and then I put my hand down. I was like, whoo! And then I was like, whoa! I think I might have burned my ass. Oh my God, I did.
You're bad? Oh yeah.
How bad?
Number 34. Kathy was a mess this season, and all she wanted was someone else to cry with her, and credit to where credit is due, she gets Jason to do just that on Exile Island.
That's okay. I know. It's okay to cry. I have never seen that side of Jason. It's good to see some emotional side to him, because I thought I was the only crybaby out here, and they're all being so stoic, and maybe they're getting something that I'm missing. I mean, you're not crying, you're not breaking down, you're not missing your family. Like, is it just me?
Number 35. Why didn't Eliza do something to flip the game around once she found out Jason's magical stick idol wasn't real? As it turns out, she didn't have the time.
Unfortunately, I didn't have any time. What you didn't see was that
when I finally saw the idol, it was just about 5 minutes before we left for tribal council, so I didn't have the opportunity to go show Suri and show Natalie and Alexis and be like, we gotta vote out Ozzy tonight when he thinks I'm going, let's blindside him, because I think they really would have gone along with it.
Number 36, Micronesia was filled to the brim with injuries, and I really think it can only be compared to Ko Rong. However, there were some injuries we were still unaware of, like how Penner actually had a second leg injury that took place before the one we saw on television.
You know, I had a leg injury that didn't even make it onto the show because I think they found it was going to be confusing. I had another leg injury and had 5 stitches in my leg during that time and had no problems with it.
Number 37. And another one that I am frankly shocked by is that Chet was supposed to be medically evacuated from the game, but instead made a bargain to just be voted off instead. And this happened before the immunity challenge. And it sounds a lot like they threw that challenge on purpose just to vote Chet off as part of this bargain.
I really didn't have the option. I was told that if I didn't get voted off, I was going to get pulled as well. And I just chose to be voted off.
So they had actually said to you, I guess the people running the game, that they're going to pull you out.
Exactly. And they actually wanted to take me that morning, and I asked to go through the challenge and get voted out that night.
Number 38. The favorites were clearly the superior tribe filled with superior players, as is expected now in retrospect. But on paper, the fans could have pulled off an upset had they just banded together. But according to a 2019 interview on Rob Has a Podcast, Natalie Bolton reveals that this seemed highly unlikely from the very beginning.
As the fans, we were fighting. Once we got to our side of the island, we were already fighting. And I say we as in the group. Not really me because I removed myself, but the older people were already fighting with the younger people. The younger people were already being really unfair to the older people. And I thought, you guys, we just landed here 45 minutes ago and people are already, we got 39 days to go, people, like, pull it together.
Number 39, would Natalie Bolton ever play again? People want her to come back. Her answer to this question, though, is so wishy-washy, even I can't make sense of what she is actually saying and what her actual answer would be.
I don't know, but would I like to go back? Yes, but does it scare me to go back and to be hungry and to, honestly, I don't know if I can be without my clients and take 2 months off my clients. I got people that depend on me for acne treatments because we're in a curing phase. So, it's a lot of things to weigh out, but the biggest part of it, I don't know if I would play this game the same way that I did 11 years ago. And that would be interesting.
So which secret blew your mind the most? Comment below and let me know. Thanks for watching. And if you like the content you see here, then please consider supporting me and this channel on Patreon. Your financial support makes this channel possible, so thank you. And thank you for watching.